to Deep Sleep Stories. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. If these stories help you relax or fall asleep, a short review, comment, or sharing the podcast with someone who might benefit is a simple and meaningful way to support the show so that we may continue to offer it for free. Now, take a slow, gentle breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. You are invited to find a soft, soothing place to rest your head, to gently close your eyes, and to take a long, slow breath. As you settle in, imagine yourself stepping into a realm of moonlit magic, where Merlin's secret garden awaits with its mysterious herbs and gentle, shimmering light. Feel the hush of the evening around you, as though the world itself is softly exhaling. Let your cares dissolve, leaving only the tranquil hum of night. With each comforting breath, your body and mind can drift into a peaceful state, preparing you for a journey into a calm and quiet fantasy land, where time seems to stretch and slow. Feel the cool, comforting darkness wrapping around you like a soft blanket. Hear in your mind the rustling of distant leaves, and let that sound guide you further into relaxation. Every muscle can relax now, melting into your bed, releasing tension. If you haven't already, take another long, gentle breath. Slowly, let your body sink into a comforting heaviness. Notice how your eyelids begin to feel soft and weightless, your shoulders releasing the day's weight, your mind becoming still. And as you sink deeper into this feeling, a brief image emerges, an ancient garden, touched by moonlight and nurtured by a timeless wizard's gentle hand. This is the place you will explore tonight. Now, let the story unfold in your mind, as though you are drifting through a dream. Long ago, on the outskirts of a quiet wood at the edge of a forgotten kingdom, Merlin tended a secret garden known only to a trusted few. By daylight, the garden seemed like a humble patch of wild greenery, nothing that would catch a passerby's eye. But under the hush of moonlight, it transformed into a realm of shimmering mystery. Pale strands of starlight wove through the leaves, and gentle glimmers of silver and gold danced across petals and vines. Beyond the tall, crooked gate that stood as silent guardian, a narrow stone path led deeper into the heart of the garden. The stones were worn smooth by the countless footsteps of those who had walked there over many years, visitors who came not to pluck or harvest, but to learn and to understand. For Merlin's garden was a place of secret knowledge, a sanctuary of magical herbs that thrived under the quiet embrace of night. Each evening, as dusk settled, Merlin would appear at the threshold. In a flowing deep blue robe, lined with subtle thread of silver, he moved with the measured grace of one who had long communed with the mysteries of the natural world. He carried a small lantern, though he rarely needed its light, for the moon's glow illuminated nearly every corner. Small glimmers across the leaves hinted at enchantments. Each plant was gently touched by Merlin's magic. Day by day and year by year, the wizard's quiet footsteps made their way along the winding path. In the stillness, he spoke softly to the plants, calling them by ancient names, and offering them the respect only a wise caretaker could bestow. He knew which leaves to brush with a tender hand to awaken hidden properties, which herbs to water at midnight, and which blossoms needed only a whisper of encouragement. Some believed Merlin was an eternal being, ageless as the stones that marked the land. Others claimed he possessed a secret knowledge that allowed him to coax life from the tiniest seed. Yet none could deny the garden's air of profound mystery. Cloaked in a mild fragrance of lavender and thyme, which waltzed on the breeze, one would discover that the garden itself seemed to breathe. The air changed subtly. One moment it smelled of soft pine, then it drifted into the gentle musk of damp earth. The plants swayed in a quiet rhythm, as though they were humming an ancient lullaby. Leaves glowed with an otherworldly radiance, and blossoms opened only in the delicate hush of night, revealing inner petals glistening with dew. Merlin's routine was as calm as the moonlit hour. Each evening he would begin in the northern patch, where tall, slender stalks of silvery mint rose. Under his careful touch, these mint leaves, rumoured to bring comfort to troubled hearts, gently released a cool, soothing scent. He would bend low, whispering a quiet incantation that only the plants seemed to understand, and a faint ripple of starlight would shimmer across the silvery mint. Next, he would turn his attention to a lesser-known herb with deep indigo petals, the star bloom. This rare plant, said to spring from a single drop of starlight fallen to earth, blossomed only for a few hours each night. When it opened, it revealed a speckled interior, like a miniature galaxy drifting among the petals. Across a mossy expanse, low to the ground, clusters of moonberry bushes extended their delicate branches. Each berry resembled a tiny pearl, absorbing the moon's glow and reflecting it back in faint luminescence. Merlin often studied these berries at the midnight hour. He believed their soft glow contained restorative powers. Every night he tested their light, ensuring they still pulsed with gentle warmth. And if a plant seemed weary, he'd murmur a melodic chant, a lullaby in a language lost to time, coaxing it back to health. In a secluded corner of the garden, surrounded by low-hanging vines, grew the fabled dreamleaf. Slender and jade-hued by day, it turned a pale, ethereal blue at night. Many travellers once sought this elusive plant, believing it could invite prophetic dreams or deep, restful slumber. Merlin guarded it carefully, knowing the dreamleaf's gift must never be used thoughtlessly. With each passing evening, he ensured its roots were firmly embraced by the soil, and its leaves were unblemished by the changing seasons. But for all the garden's allure, very few souls had ever truly explored its depths. Most visitors arrived, guided by rumour or faint hope, only to find that somehow the winding paths turned them back toward the entrance. The garden possessed a living awareness that protected its secrets, allowing only those with pure intentions to see past the first clusters of moon-kissed herbs. Beyond that mystical threshold, illusions or misdirections gently guided wanderers back to where they had started. Yet on this particular night, the garden stirred with anticipation, as if an unseen breeze carried the promise of an unexpected guest. For many nights, a young herbalist named Arya had walked the outskirts of the woods, drawn by murmurs of magic and healing. She was guided by a humble curiosity, wanting to learn how to soothe the aches and sadness of her village. Rumour whispered of a wizard's hidden sanctuary, a realm of mystical plants that could mend a shattered spirit or ease a troubled night's sleep. Under the soft glow of a half-moon, Arya ventured quietly through the woodland. She carried only a small satchel, a notebook in which she jotted her observations, and a heart full of reverence for the natural world. She had no illusions of mastery over magic. Rather, she hoped that she might understand it enough to help those she cared for. When she reached the tall, crooked gate, a gentle hush settled. It felt like stepping into a dream. Vines of moonflower curled across the gate, their pearl-white blossoms spreading wide in welcome. Arya felt no fear. Something in the still air assured her that this was a place of peace. Tentatively, she pushed the gate open, and the subtle creak echoed like a soft echo in a vast canyon of silence. Inside, the moonlight seemed to brighten, illuminating a winding path of worn stones. Arya's steps were light, and her heartbeat quickened at the wonder of the moment. She paused every few feet, eyes roaming over the glimmering leaves and delicate blossoms. Here was a variety of mint that shimmered in silver. There, a patch of thyme swayed gently, though no wind seemed present. She ran her fingertips over the fuzzy leaves of an herb that smelled faintly of citrus and warmth. As the path curved, she saw in the distance the faint outline of a tall figure robed in deep blue, lantern at his side. Merlin. For a moment she hesitated, uncertain if she should speak, or if her presence was even welcome. But Merlin, as though sensing her wonder, simply lifted his gaze and offered a slow, understanding nod. So it was that Arya found herself in Merlin's secret garden, under the moon's watchful eye. She approached quietly, and the wizard inclined his head in greeting. "You have come," he murmured in a gentle tone. "The garden welcomes you." It was as if the garden itself shimmered in approval, the leaves rustling in harmonious accord. Merlin guided her through the pathways, stopping now and again to show her some hidden detail. The way moonlight seeped into the star bloom, giving its petals their galaxy-like glow, or the subtle, quivering luminescence of the moonberry bushes. Arya listened intently, her breath caught in quiet awe. Never had she imagined a place so alive with the night's magic, so attuned to the rhythms of the moon and stars. As they walked, Merlin shared whispers of old lore, stories of how each herb had been gathered from the four corners of the land, nurtured through seasons of darkness and light. The hush in his voice was a lullaby unto itself, and the gentle shuffle of his robe along the path had the timeless cadence of an ancient ritual. Arya paused at the Dreamleaf's dwelling place, Carefully, she reached out, brushing the cool surface of a leaf with her fingertips. At once, she felt a subtle, soothing energy flow through her. It was as if the plant recognized her genuine desire to heal and comfort. With a faint glow, the leaf responded to her touch. A gentle wave of relaxation passed over her, like the feeling of drifting into a pleasant doze beneath a warm blanket. Merlin observed silently, a soft smile hidden in the corners of his expression. He knew that the garden, in its own quiet wisdom, decided who was worthy of its secrets. Here was someone who sought knowledge not for personal gain, but for the betterment of others. The wizard's heart gladdened to share the garden's wonders with a kindred spirit. Under a canopy of vines, they rested for a while, talking in low voices about the properties of each herb. Merlin described how the silver mint could calm a restless mind. Arya shared memories of her village, where mothers would brew simple teas for anxious children. As she listened, she jotted down the subtle details in her notebook, drawing sketches of leaves and jotting notes on when best to gather each bloom. The night deepened and the moon rose higher, casting elongated shadows across the garden. The air grew thicker with an ancient hush, as though all the world paused to bask in the glow of this enchanted place. Yet even as it stilled, the garden's faint pulse remained, a soft interplay of crickets' lullabies, leaves gently stirring, and the distant trickle of a hidden water source. For Arya, every moment felt like a fragile wonder. She traced the delicate lines of petals, inhaled the mild perfume of slumbering blossoms, and listened to the faint tingle of magic that vibrated through the garden. She felt an expansive calm settle inside her, as if she, too, became part of this peaceful tapestry. Time no longer seemed to press upon her. Hours passed unnoticed, marked only by the moon's slow journey across the sky. Eventually, she found herself standing before a particularly intriguing plant. Its leaves bore the pattern of tiny crescent moons, shimmering with each subtle shift of light. Merlin explained that this was the lunar lace leaf, a plant that revealed the phases of the moon on its leaves and, when gently coaxed, could help one reconnect with the natural rhythms of day and night. Arya bent closer, transfixed by the lovely shapes. Instinctively, she felt the plant's delicate aura, a sense of balance and continuity, as though the leaf itself sang a song of the moon's nightly dance. In that moment, she understood how finely attuned every living thing in this garden was to the universe. As the night wore on, Merlin and Arya spoke less. Their words grew quiet, spaced by the soothing hush of the surrounding greenery. In that comfortable silence, the garden itself became the teacher, revealing a symphony of subtle energies and interconnections. The star bloom, the moonberry, the silver mint, the dream leaf, the lunar lace leaf, each had its own secret language, and each whispered to the others. In the stillness, Arya felt her eyelids grow heavy with a gentle fatigue, not from exhaustion, but from the profound serenity of this place. It seemed that the garden, with all its mysteries, lulled her into a peaceful surrender. Merlin noticed the soft droop of her head and guided her to a small bench beneath an archway of shimmering vines. He placed a hand on her shoulder in comfort, and she felt safe. And so Arya drifted into a light slumber, there in the wizard's secret sanctuary, dreaming softly of moonlit petals and stardust swirling across quiet waters. While she rested, Merlin continued his nightly rounds, murmuring soft incantations to each herb, ensuring they remained well and energized. Here, he gently straightened a drooping leaf. There, he hushed a rustling vine. All the while, the moon looked down with benevolent grace. When at last Arya stirred, the first hint of dawn was touching the horizon with pastel pinks and pale blues. The glimmers of the garden began to fade, blending into the ordinary green of leaves and stems as the sun prepared to rise. She rubbed the sleep from her eyes and noticed Merlin standing nearby, watching the sky with a thoughtful expression. He turned to her and offered a subtle, kind smile. "You have learned much," he said softly. "Remember that magic is not merely power, it is patience, humility, and a willingness to listen." She felt a glow of gratitude, her heart full of respect for this gentle, timeless wizard. Then, as the sky brightened, Merlin guided Arya back along the winding path towards the gate. Step by step, the magic of the night began to soften, tucking itself away for another time. The star bloom's petals closed, waiting for Moonlight's return. The leaves that glowed so brightly under the moon settled into calm green rest. The still air carried the first hints of birdsong, a sign that the ordinary world was awakening. Yet, even as normal daylight returned, Arya's heart brimmed with the memory of how the garden shimmered by night. She understood that though it might appear mundane in the sun's glare, the enchantments remained, patiently waiting for dusk to share their splendor once more. Before stepping through the gate, she turned back for one last look. For a moment, she thought she saw a faint sparkle at the far edge of the garden, as if the dreamleaf gave a parting farewell. Outside the gate, a gentle breeze carried the fresh scent of morning dew. Arya breathed in the crisp air, reflecting on all she had witnessed, felt, and learned. There, in her satchel, her notebook held sketches and notes. But the greatest lesson she carried was the quiet reverence for the harmony of living things. She now knew that the healing power of herbs was deeply entwined with respect for nature's rhythms, the hush of the moonlit hours, and the cautious care of a wise keeper. With the rising day, Merlin's secret garden seemed once again hidden from prying eyes, just an unremarkable patch of green behind an old, crooked gate. But for those with genuine curiosity and gentle intent, the path would open beneath the moon's tender glow. And so, the legend of Merlin's garden of magical herbs continued, whispered by those who believed in wonders that only night could reveal. Now, as dawn's light returns in our tale, let us step away from the garden's threshold and allow its enchantments to rest. The memory of moonlit petals and stardust shimmering across quiet leaves can linger in your mind, soothing you, inviting you into deeper relaxation. Let the images of softly swaying plants and silver-lit paths settle into your thoughts like a comforting haze. Feel your breathing slow, each inhale gentle, each exhale releasing the remnants of tension. If any cares or worries remain, let them dissolve like morning mist upon the warm earth. The garden's hush and Merlin's wise presence remain within you, offering a serene glow of comfort. Allow the peaceful images to guide you toward deep and restful sleep. Envision the calm hush of that moonlit sanctuary each time you drift inwards. Let the subtle scents of dreamleaf and mint linger in your senses, carrying you further into a realm of quiet dreams. All is still now. The night is your companion, and the gentle lullaby of distant crickets or rustling leaves might echo softly in the corners of your imagination. You have learned how to gently slip into the garden's quiet magic, and you can carry that soothing presence with you even as you rest. With every breath, you sink deeper into your bed. Let your body grow heavier and your mind lighter, floating toward a space of tranquil surrender. The story's melody continues in the background of your dreams, leading you toward a gentle slumber. And as the final wisps of wakefulness drift away, you may find yourself returning to that mossy path beneath the moon, crossing a soft gate into the hush of Merlin's domain. Perhaps you will linger among the moonberry bushes, or softly trace the petals of the star bloom with your fingertips. Perhaps you will sit beside Merlin himself, listening to ancient secrets whispered by the midnight breeze. The choices of your dreams are entirely your own, and they need not require effort or thought. They flow as gently as a silver ribbon in the moonlight. So let the mind drift, unburdened, unhurried, guided by the peaceful images of a hidden, enchanted garden. Good night, dear traveller. Sleep well,